You're welcome back. This is News Today. One of Benin's latest report says data gathered indicated that there's a rising form of criminality that is targeted killings or direct attacks. Chukwumeka is the program's director for West African Network for Peace Building told Joynews the report is not meant to create fear or panic.
Security issues are very secretive because in nature it should be secretive. Now, if the police goes public to announce suspects, they are still tagged suspects. It might also be that they want to use that to deter another one from happening. I'm not a security official, but I'm trying to wear the cap of a security official. So if they don't make it public, it means it will help them with investigation. So they weigh the options. They are professionals. We feel that Ghana is stable. We feel that there's an atmosphere of peace that Ghana is enjoying. And that accounts for the number of people, both within and outside, that are coming into Ghana on a daily basis. But we also want that a situation, we don't want a situation where we take for granted this peaceful atmosphere. Peace, as we always say in our institution, is like flower. The beauty of flower goes away when you stop taking care of it. We don't want anything, any situation where the report that is generated from one is not credible. We want to maintain that credibility, which has earned us the position we are enjoying today.
President John Mahama on Wednesday opened the World Economic Forum session on Responsible Mineral Development Initiative. The initiative aims at helping countries develop their mineral resources in a socially and economically responsible manner. In his opening remarks at the session, attended by Liberian President Ellen Sirleaf Johnson and Guinean President Alpha Conde, President Mahama said Ghana is seeking international cooperation to move her from a primary processor of mineral resources to a secondary one. He said Ghana still lives accolade as the Gold Coast, but the sector faces few challenges like illegal mining, which resulted in the deportation of about 4,700 illegal miners. President Mahama noted that apart from a number of legislation passed to inject sanity into the sector, there is the need for technical expertise to manage the system. The University of Cape Coast branch of the Federation of University Senior Staff Association of Ghana has again given government an ultimatum to pay its salary arrears by the end of January. The association says if this deadline is not met, it will have no option but to embark on another possible industrial action. According to chairman of the association, Daniel Adiri Asa, the association had been waiting for the payment of their salaries since 2013. National Executive Council of the Federation of University Senior Staff Association of Ghana suspended its 4-week industrial strike on 30th September 2013. Emmanuel Edu, Secretary for FUSAC, has joined us over the telephone. Hello, Emma.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us on News Today. But what's been the outcome of the various meetings you've held with your vice-chancellors and the Fair Wages and Salaries Commission after you called off your last strike in 2013?
Well, thank you very much. Good news to you. Let me say that I am the Secretary for the University of People's Branch.
I see. Thank you very much.
Yes. We issued a press statement. Let me say that it's not in relation to our grievance that occasioned strike action across the nation. That issue is still pending. But this is a different issue regarding the payment of our salary arrears for the 2018 as well as the date in the payment of our salaries, which is greatly attributed to lack of release of subventions to the universities by the government. So the issues are really pending. Those issues that occasioned the strike action in 2013 are still pending. We are still talks with NL and Service and Salaries Commission back to Ghana. But it's a different altogether.
But what did government really say about your grievances as far as your salaries are concerned?
Yes. Well, what the issue is that we are all aware that every year salaries are adjusted. And in a like manner, 2013 salaries were adjusted. So naturally, arrears accrued. So the arrears span January, August 2013. And it was the understanding was that the arrests were going to take in 2013. We waited for quite some time. The arrests were not forthcoming. Started engaging our management throughout the period the adjustment was made. And in all this engagement, one issue that came up was that the government was not releasing the funds for the payment of the arrears. So we're getting to the latter part of the year, that was December 2013. The Ministry of Finance and Economic Planning issued letters to our vice chancellor, in this case, Ministry of Safety, authorizing payment of the 4-month arrears. A similar letter was issued to the vice chancellor of the Ministry of Education, and other campuses also followed that letter. And in spite of that authorization letter, nothing happened. As I speak to you, I can confirm that we have not been paid this one of that 2013 arrears. And you believe, I think you and your viewers would agree that economic conditions have changed. And for that matter, the value of the arrears in January 2013, in August 2013, will not be the same as we speak now. So further delay in the payment of the arrears is eroding the value of that money, and that's really a problem. And what even makes the situation quite hopeless is that there's nothing concrete to show that your arrears are going to be paid today or tomorrow. And we have exercised enough to spend all this while. Whenever we go to our management, we tell us to exercise things, they are in talks with government, they are dealing with it and what else. And our members are agitated. So it was a decision we took at the general meeting held on Thursday, January 2014. And so that's one issue. The second issue is that owing to the delay in subvention, release of subvention to pay emolument, in November, for instance, our salaries traveled almost 3 weeks into December. 15 people had not received their salaries. We engaged our management to make to understand that funds are not coming, and that subvention for the payment of all those emoluments have been in arrears. We expected things and waited, and it was paid. So from the look of things, it's likely that this year, for that matter, January salaries are going to pay. And this is something our members are not like, because salaries, they still know the consequence. We need to pay our hospital, our board, and what else. So these are basically the two. Our arrears as well as the payment of salaries.
Emmanuel, have you officially informed the government about your decision? Or your employers?
Yes, the practice is that we, the first point of call is our management. Our management is the first point of call. They are our employers' principal. So we have been engaging them, and indeed, after the thing was made at the meeting, we wrote to them. And we also informed management. And the point is that government is already aware of this, and the government is aware that an authorization letter has been issued to pay this. So government is already aware. And let me remind your viewers. Remember, you issued a press statement when the hikes in security prices were mentioned, and the chief mentioned specifically that the 2013 arrears should not travel beyond 2013, and indeed, so that was the case. We're even ready to take the 4-month arrears, pending arrangement for the payment, but not the pending first pay. So we have really engaged our management. We have informed them appropriately. Now, national office is also working on it. The General Secretary has been in touch and what else? I think that 40 is a bit of funding and all that.
Right, thank you very much, Emmanuel. Emmanuel Edu is Secretary for the University of Cape Coast branch of the Federation of University Senior Staff Association of Ghana. We've been talking to grievances. They've given government up to the end of January to deal with their salary grievances or face an imminent industrial actions. Now, teacher trainees across the country are faced with a possibility of missing their end of semester exams in spite of their pleas. This is because members of the Colleges Teachers Association of Ghana insist they will not return to the classrooms until the Ministry of Education gives them 70% of their current gross salary for work done over the years. Expecting the ministry to sign a memorandum of understanding with the association, which will allow salaries owed them to take a retroactive effect from 2012. The National Secretary of SETAC, Prince Obinhima, says the association is disappointed Because while every part of the upgrading of the colleges to tertiary levels appear to have been activated, members of SETAC have been unduly streamlined.
And the people, we expect them to give us 70% of our current gross salaries to cushion us for having done this tertiary work all these years without due remuneration, as well to take care of our people who keep going on retirement and will have nothing to hold on or to take home for having done this work. That is one of the options. And two, let them sign MOU with SETAC, tying ourselves to the agreement that, look, anytime we implement that, like with 2010, 2014, 2016, anytime they implement that thing, it will take retrospective effect from 2012 when the Colleges for Education Act was passed into law. These are the two.
Meanwhile, the National Labour Commission has summoned striking teachers of colleges of education to a meeting. The commission hopes to address their grievances at the meeting, which would see representation from the Ministry of Education and the National Council for Tertiary Education. The meeting comes on the back of a similar meeting last week, which executives of the College of Education Teachers Association of Ghana failed to attend. The association this time will give the commission the due respect and appear. There's more news ahead. Don't go away. You're welcome back to News Today. The Executive Director of the Africa Center for Energy Policy, Mohammed Amin Adam, says reviewing the Petroleum Revenue Management Act is crucial to the development of the sector and the country. At a national forum to discuss and analyze proposals for review, he argued that if this is not done, it will undermine Ghana's development efforts.
The Petroleum Revenue Management Act was passed by Parliament in March 2011 and has been described as most progressive and provided a transparent framework for managing Ghana's petroleum revenues. However, like many new laws, its implementation has brought to the fore some challenges. The government of Ghana recently announced its decision to review the law and invited proposals from Ghanaians for consideration. It is against this background that the Finance Ministry, civil society organizations and other stakeholders filed proposals. The proposals cover the fiscal framework, financing of GNPC, the annual budget funding amount, transparency and accountability, among others. At a forum to discuss these proposals, the Executive Director for Africa Center for Energy Policy, Mohammed Amin Adam, said the review was crucial to the development of the country.
As a middle-income economy, we must dream big, think big, and do big things. And this is how Ghana can once again show to the world that the promise of oil will not be compromised for our people. We can do this by ensuring that the law becomes a tool for the efficient investment of oil revenues, provides a framework for public investment management to ensure value for money, and reduces the cost associated with the complexities that hamper the effective implementation of the law. We will soon see from the proposals the ministry has received the complex law we passed to govern the management of our oil revenues, and how the current model, if not checked and if not followed, could undermine our development efforts.
A World Bank representative lauded the initiative and pledged support.
Oil revenue architecture and utilization can better position Ghana to address or further combat poverty and enhance shared prosperity. The World Bank lauds the government initiative once again and looks forward to seeing a fruitful discussion from today's forum, and also looking forward to the impact or outcome of this discussion on the revised petroleum law. The bank is ready and willing to provide the necessary support to the process, to government in the process, and particularly in technical aspects of the oil and gas sector.
Participants were taken through various operational challenges and inconsistencies of the Act and the proposals submitted for its review.
Meanwhile, the Ghana National Petroleum Corporation says Ghana could produce 500,000 barrels per day in the next 10 years. Currently, Ghana is producing 100,000 barrels of crude oil per day. The GNPC is now focusing on investing in exploration to meet the target. Alex Mode explains that with the exploration that is ongoing and the probabilities of hitting, he thinks the next 10 years will be looking at something around 500,000 barrels minimum. So the GNPC will have to continue to add reserves to what it already has. Now, the country's reserves are about 1.3 billion barrels. The International Monetary Fund is predicting the world economy will advance at a faster pace this year. The IMF economic counselor Olivier Blanchard said Tuesday in Washington that the global economy will grow by 3.7% in 2014, up from last year's 3% rise. Advanced economies will grow by 2.2% this year, with emerging markets and developing economies moving ahead by 5.1%. The IMF predicted 2.8% growth in the U.S., for instance, this year, although many economists think the figure will top 3%. That's it for the business news segment on News Today. I'll be right back with more. Thank you very much for staying on News Today. There was a demolition exercise earlier today at Saha East in Ajay Kujo. My colleague Matilda Wemega witnessed the demolition exercise. She's here with me in the studio. She'll bring us up to speed exactly what happened. Thank you very much for joining us on News Today.
Thank you.
So tell us about this demolition exercise.
Basically, when we got there this morning, we realized that yesterday a demolition exercise took place at Saha East, which is popularly known as Ajay Kujo. So we spoke to some of the residents to find out what exactly was the reason. They told us it was the TDC that had brought in military men and police, like a joint force, to do the exercise. They were not given any prior notice. That is what they told me. They told me just Monday they had final warning written on their walls. So they went to TDC to inquire from them what exactly they wanted, because they had legally acquired the lands. So we tried speaking to some of the residents, and they showed us the document, of the lands. Yeah.
I'll let you go on, but on our screen is a mother of, I think, 2,
yes.
and she's wailing. Tell us about the people who are losing their homes.
Look, it was so sad, Kemini. As I stood there watching those people, I just placed myself in their shoes. I was like, wow, you just go to work and then you come back and realize that your house is gone. The one you just saw, at that very moment, that was when her house was being brought down. So she was crying. No one was even giving reasons as to what exactly they wanted from them. And surprisingly, the military, the joint forces, they had drawn a line telling us not to cross. Even the media, I was holding my microphone because I had no tag, so I was holding my microphone for them to see that I'm from Joynews, and then so that they could allow me to cross the line. They told me no, I should stay back. So my cameraman was allowed to enter to start taking the shot. So just when he was taking the shot of this woman crying, one of the TDC officials just came in. All of a sudden, what is he doing here? And then I was trying to explain, and then he just brought a gun out of a rubber bag and just fired. So we all got so scared. I was so shaken, Kemini. I was so shaken. We all got scattered, and we didn't know what exactly was happening, because the police who were there, that we were thinking that, well, the police are there to protect life, as they tell us. They were sacking us.
Let's take a look at that visual.
Yes,
you just
that was when,
narrated.
That was when my cameraman was running away. You see, that was when he was running to save his life, because...
Right, let's take a listen to the ambience.
Duty to protect lives and properties. But for this exercise, we are authorized, we are mandated to ensure that we maintain peace and order and provide maximum security. And the road, can I continue?
No, you can't continue. I want to understand what you are telling me. So if you keep on continuing as if you are just talking, you are talking to me. Whose lives are you protecting?
Everybody, every guy.
But that is the point I'm talking about, that for such an exercise, to say you are protecting lives, we must negotiate. Maybe I need to get my people out. Maybe we need to do something. You don't want to hurt somebody. So the question is, even as the elected representative of this place, you think you can just come and build houses and I will not be
not breaking house. This is an issue between you and then TDC. We are not breaking houses. Police,
so who is breaking
military
the house?
has not broken any house here.
Who is breaking the house there? Who's breaking?
Did you see any policeman or any military man breaking house? We are to provide maximum security.
Right, so that was a banter between a police officer and Natoshi, who is member of parliament for the area. It was such a terrible experience this morning.
Yes, Natoshi was so mad because, according to her, she had nothing. She had no information about what was going to take place yesterday and today. She had no idea about what was happening. So she got there, she was like this.
And the area was being demolished because...
Because TDC, according to them, TDC is saying that there is going to be an extension which is going to be Community 24, which is not so far from where the people are living. But then they have given a demarcation, and those houses do not fall part of the demarcation. We spoke to the owners of the land, and they told us, no, the area that was being demolished is not part of the areas that is supposed to be affected by the new construction that is supposed to take place. So everybody was so much in shock. No one had an idea of what exactly was happening. They need answers from the authorities. They need TDC to come out to speak to the issue.
Thank you very much, Matilda. We'll leave it here for now. But we'll bring you more on this particular exercise in our subsequent broadcast. The demolition exercise at Sraha East in Ajekojo in Tema, a suburb of Ashaiman, really. And we'll bring you more on this in our subsequent bulletins. But our sports ahead is brought to you by Tigo. Don't go away. Yeah, welcome back to News Today, and let's get into some sports stories. Ghana's Black Princesses have intensified training ahead of their final World Cup qualifier.
Within the last 4 days, they've been training, and I've seen him made some few changes to his starting lineup, and I'm sure that would yield results because already they've scored 2 goals, which is rare. I mean, they play all the beautiful game, but they are unable to score. So let's see what comes out of it next week. I mean, this has rather been a more consistent team because it's made up of the players that went to Japan who still qualify to play for the under-20, as well as the under-17 girls who can no longer make the under-17 mark and therefore have been promoted. So, and most of them are teammates at the club level. So that understanding and cohesion is there. The problem is that I think that as a national team, they haven't gelled psychologically, they haven't gelled yet, and there's still a loophole in the midfield.
More tributes from the sports fraternity continue to pour in for Cum Laude Jumo, and latest on the list is Chief Drama of the Black Stars, Joseph Langabell.
Oh, you know that at the time Cum Laude Jumo was the Joy FM during 1995, where Joy FM opened. Then 1996, Cum Laude Jumo is the one who is coming to present. How do you call it? Tom Annan Forcing. No, definitely, I know Cum Laude Jumo because 2004, 94, 96, 97, during Adekoka time, he is the one I do program with him to fire Adekoka in Joy FM. The first time I made program for Joy FM, that is me and Cum Laude Jumo in former GACA office in Accra Sports Stadium. No, Cum Laude Jumo there is long life and prosperity somebody. But I hope that the BBC people, they fire him. This one there is nothing. It's our man. We know our corporate.
Tigers boss Steve Bruce wants to strengthen City's midfield as he plots his side's route to top flight safety, and is targeting a 3.9 million soup for the former Portsmouth ball winner. Bruce splashed 14 million on bringing in strikers Nika Jelavic and Shane Long from Everton and West Brom last week. But now he's looking to bolster his squad after 3 successive league defeats, which have left the Humberside outfit hovering just 5 points above the drop zone. Ghana international Muntari 29 is up for grabs at Milan following the sacking of coach Massimiliano Allegri last week. Away from sports, live from Davos at 12:45 Ghana time, we are hosting the African debate with Goodluck Jonathan, President of Nigeria, Paul Kagame, President of Rwanda, John Mahama, President of Ghana, Aliko Dangote, President of the Dangote Group. You don't want to miss on it. We tell the African story from these African leaders' perspective. I'll be right back. Don't go away. Dr. Kena Hausu is with the Legon Center for International Research, and he's joined me over the telephone. Hello, Doc.
Yeah, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us on News Today.
Yeah.
Right, government and rebels have been holding peace talks for almost a month now, yet deadlocked over issue of release of political detainees. From your assessment of the situation, can the two sides reach a deal anytime soon?
Well, when situations like this arise, what is important is that they keep talking to the parties. As you have rightly pointed out, there are two burning issues. One is the release of the prisoners as Saka is demanding. I mean, the one who is leading the motley of rebels. And the government is also asking that the United Nations should allow them access to their accounts as to search people who they're supposed to be hiding there as rebels. So these are the two thorny issues. But I think so far they have been talking, and the violence has largely subsided, though there are skirmishes and once a while people are being killed. I think the most important thing is that the United Nations, the international community, the AU, should engage them in talks. What is becoming a major issue again is the alleged involvement of the Ugandan troops. It's been reported that Ugandan troops have sent helicopter gunships there, and that has turned the tide of fighting in favor of the government. Once there is a third party, the problem becomes more complex.
Right, but how real is this? At the point when Salva Kiir is now accusing the United Nations peacekeeping mission of acting like a parallel government, and in fact he says that, they are hiding guns at bases for rebels, and could this statement really spark an attack of UN peacekeepers?
Well, the problem often is that any time there is instability and there is conflict of this magnitude, the first and foremost thing that is lost is the element of trust. What is happening now is that the government does not trust the rebels, and the rebels does not trust the government. But then again, the government finds itself in a legal conundrum in the sense that the government feels that it's a sovereign government, it's a sovereign state, and it should have access to every area without any form of limitation. But the problem is that once you are in conflict and the United Nations, or for that matter, any international organization intervenes, it means that your sovereignty is somehow qualified. Because if your sovereignty is total, then you don't need any external assistance. Now, so that is the perception of the government, that it wants to go anywhere because it's the government of the country to see if there are rebels there. But then the United Nations has a responsibility to protect whoever runs to its counts for refuge. And the United Nations, sorry to say, has made it clear that all those who came there have been searched, and those who have weapons, the weapons have been taken away. So again, this is the question. So the best thing people should always do is to avoid this type of violence and conflict, because once the situation moves to this, it becomes very difficult to have confidence in what your neighbor is saying or to trust them. And I think this is the situation. But the Southern Sudan cannot do without United Nations. It cannot do without the international community. So what is important is that they must be continuously engaged. And I think so far what is being done is in the right direction.
Thank you very much, Doc. Dr. Kenna Hosu is with the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy. Move on to showbiz now. Tributes continue to pour in for the late BBC anchor Komla Dumo. Komla laughed and enjoyed life, and he also encountered some personalities from the entertainment fraternity. Some members of the entertainment industry in Ghana have been paying tribute to him.
Veteran Ghanaian musician Kojo Entry has also been paying tribute and signing the book of condolence at our premises here at Multimedia. When we caught up with him, he also shared fond memories of Komla.
I was blessed to be in his presence. I had interviews with him whilst he was with Multimedia, Joy FM to be precise. And the last time I met him is about just about a year ago. We had a show at the banquet hall. All that I can remember is his smile, his approach to, and his love for what he was doing as a broadcaster.
My role model sent me a message. Anytime I want to get direction on things I want to do, I drop him a mail. He'll be like, I'm busy, I'm on my way home. The next thing I know, I receive a mail describing this is what I suggest you should do and this is the direction you should take. And it has always been like that back and forth. I was hoping to meet him before he passed away. Personally, I remember him for calling me a boss. And he, as a bigger brother, is the biggest boss I know. So for me, it just gives me the task that I really, really need to elevate and make him proud wherever he is.
Well, music duo Footprint also shared with us what they make of the legacy Komla Dumo left behind.
I think he's a legend. Yeah. He's a go-getter. I mean, he has done something that every kid or every person who wants to achieve something will be able to emulate. So I've not heard anything bad about him yet. I don't know if there's anything bad though, but you know, from all we are getting from the social networks and on TV and on radio and everything, I think he's just a legend in general, yeah.
And I love his personality as well. A great personality, and yeah, I was a great fan of him though. Yeah, I listened to him interviewing Sarkodie way back, and yeah, really know who he is, and yeah, I love him, yeah.
This is news today in our major stories. OneUp in its latest report says data gathered indicates there is a rise in form of criminality, targets killings or direct attacks. New York-based Human Rights Watch in its annual report says crisis in South Sudan and the Central African Republic led to some of the worst human rights abuses in Africa in 2013. Thank you very much for staying through. There's more news on myjoyonline.com, but don't forget we are live from Davos at 12:45 Ghana time. The African agenda will be set by some African leaders, including presidents from Nigeria, Goodluck Jonathan, Paul Kagame from Rwanda, John Mahama from Ghana, and President of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, 12:45 p.m. here on Joy News. Thank you very much once again for staying through. My name is Kemini Nyamani Amano. Goodbye.